Hello and welcome back to the reading vlog. My name is Steven. This is What Steven Reads. This is actually a redo video. I had a video uploaded. It may still be there. I may delete it. I don't know. We'll see. It was too long. I was probably talking too much about the books that I'm reading, and I think it just felt boring. I was sitting on my couch in my living room. I think the background was boring. So this is basically take two, and then we'll get into the book haul and my little trip to Barnes & Noble earlier in the week. So it is Sunday. Usually I film these things throughout the week or the beginning of the weekend, edit it on Saturday and upload it, which I did for 9 a.m. And it only got 3 hits. I said this is a dud. Even the thumbnail I think was too much. So here we go again. So I'll catch you up on the books that I'm reading and then we'll move on to the other stuff. So I finished The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky, and I really enjoyed it. It's set in the 90s in high school, which is when I went to high school in 1990, and it was a little bit nostalgic. It was a nice read to just feel that connection with the time period. The book's main character is Charlie, and the way it's written is through a series of letters to an unknown person he's writing to. And I guess we could assume that the person, well, the feeling is he's writing to us, and he's telling us about his first year experience in high school. And at first it came off that he's a loner. He's not. He wants to be social with people that he feels a connection to. And you definitely get the sense from the beginning that he's going through a depression or has anxiety. And you learn very early on in the first chapter that a good friend of his passed away. And he's dealing with that loss. The book deals with the loss of his aunt, who we get that sense early on, I'm not giving anything away, and forms friendships with 2 individuals. And he has a crush on the girl and forms a very tight relationship with the stepbrother. And it's an endearing story, very emotional, and the 20th anniversary edition actually has one more chapter written by Chbosky that takes place when the anniversary edition came out, which I believe was 2009 or 2014, I can't remember. And it's basically an update and talking about Charlie and what he was possibly going through, and it was very emotional. I really don't want to give anything away, but I highly recommend The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. And then I moved on to The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, and I'm really enjoying it. I had no idea that this was also a bit of a ghost story. I had this filed in my mystery section, and I started reading it, and yeah, it's a little bit of a ghost story, and it's a little bit eerie. It's set, again, this is in 2 different time periods, 1982 and 2017, which I guess is when the book came out. So back in 2002, this young lady, Vivian, leaves her hometown and wants to pursue an acting career in New York. And she winds up in a fictional town called Fell, New York. And in the first chapter, you basically learn that something's happening. She's being stalked by something. And that's where the chapter ends. And then it goes to 2017, and it turns out her niece wants to find out what happened to her Aunt Viv that she never even got to meet. It's her mother's sister. So she travels, she has the same desire to leave her hometown, travels to Fell, New York, and starts investigating what happened. So the chapters go back and forth from the 2 different time periods. It's got an eerie ambiance, nostalgic with the 80s feeling, and then jumping back to the present. The extra characters are interesting. Her roommate, couple of people that she meets in the motel. Definitely highly recommend it. I'm halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through. I should finish it the next day or 2. But yeah, so that's the Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. So now we're going to cut to a video of me. I had gone to Barnes & Noble earlier in the week, and I started the book haul in the car. So there was no need to say it again in the previous video I did, so we'll go through that video first, and then I'll see you back over here for some other books. Hello. I just went to Barnes & Noble, and I'm trying really hard not to buy new books. I come here because I'm off during the week on a Tuesday, and Tuesday happens to be new book release day, typically, for paperbacks as well. and it's something to do. I picked up an egg sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts and a coffee, which is very good. And then I come here, and yeah, I did see some stuff I wanted to get. In picking my September reads, I wanted a fall autumn feeling classic, but I did do a quick search on Gemini to suggest some fall vibes classics, and it suggested Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry, French people. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find it. And I said, let me check horror. And they did have one book by her. It was actually a collection. Don't Look Now by Daphne du Maurier. But what I noticed was, well, first I checked the content to see if Rebecca was in here, because it's a collection of her stories. And it is not. I had assumed that Rebecca was a short novel. It is not. I'll show you in a second. But it does have the birds, and I had remembered that she wrote the original story of the birds, which I know was drastically changed for the movie. But then I saw on the cover that Patrick McGrath did the introduction, and I'm a Patrick McGrath fan. Back in the 2000s, early 2000s, I was reading a lot of his books, like one after the other. Dr. Haggard's Disease, The Grotesque, Asylum. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, I haven't heard anything about him in a long time. And this was published in 2008, so I guess that makes sense. I'm kind of thinking about it now. I gotta see if he has anything new. So just really quick, I wanted to look up Patrick McGrath because I haven't read him since probably, let's see, Asylum came out in 1996. And Spider came out, yeah, probably 1996, around there. So that's how long it's been since I read his books. And I guess I just dropped off of reading because I was not aware that he had new books out. And his last book was Last Days in Clever Square, which was in 2021. And it has a 3.48, let's say 3.5 rating on Goodreads, which you shouldn't always go by Goodreads reviews. But here's the interesting thing. Asylum came out in 1996. That's the first book I read from him, I think. I don't remember. Has a 3.67 rating on Goodreads. Now, the same book, which is a different edition, has a 4.3 rating on Goodreads. So, what does that mean? That people prefer his writing in another country? I don't know what language this is. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say which translation it is. So, I don't know. I find that interesting. So I picked that up, and yeah, The Birds is in here, so, and you know, they're short stories, so they don't take very long to read. So I got that. And then, just to support the author, because I enjoyed the book, and I am recommending it now because it's so different, I bought Sky Daddy by Kate Folk. And again, it's really to support the author. I already read it. I might read it again someday. Take some notes, you know, put some tabs in there. I don't know if I'm really a book tabber, but I did want to own a copy of Sky Daddy. And, you know, the cover is pretty cool. And I've been watching Life on Books with those two guys, and they read very intense books. They're not all for me. I don't know if I can ever get that involved in the kind of books that they read, but they were talking about Clarice Lispector, and I came across this book, which I guess came out recently. It's a collection, and it's called Covert Joy, Selected Stories. Beautiful cover. I'm hoping it's a picture of her. And I figured it's a great way to start seeing if I like her writing. And it was $21.95, which isn't bad. Plus, I got the 10% off. I think it's 10% from the Barnes & Noble membership. And then I asked someone to help me find Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And it was right there facing forward, and I didn't see it. I'm like, oh my god. Thank you so much for finding it for me. I felt so stupid. And I remember watching a movie, it was in black and white, about Rebecca. So I'm excited to read this. This might get inserted into September reads, maybe October for Halloween time. I don't know, we'll see. All right, welcome back from the car. We're back in my office slash library slash reading room, whatever you want to call it, and collection of some toys which you can't see off camera. All right, so the last 3 books that I got from my haul since my last haul, I have 2 mysteries. One which is The Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz, and it just sounds like a classic style murder mystery book. And this is actually a series which I wanted to start a few years ago, but then just kind of forgot about it. And it's that mood again. It's September, October. I get in the mood for mystery novels. So I'm excited to start this one. And then I saw this in Barnes & Noble, 10 Marchfield, is it Lane or Street? Marchfield Square by Nicole White. And this sounds right up my alley. It's giving me Thursday Murder... No, not Thursday Murder Club vibes. It's giving me Only Murders in the Building vibes, which the next season's coming out soon. I can't wait. And it just sounds like that typical, you know, someone is found dead and they're interviewing all of the inhabitants of the building or whatever, it's street, cul-de-sac, whatever it is, and everyone has a motive to have done something or an alibi. So I'm just looking forward to starting this book. And the last book I got since the last haul is called Midnight at the Cinema Palace by Christopher Chbosky, and I think it's a pretty cool cover. This is set in the late 80s, 90s, I believe. Yeah, 1993. It's in the middle. This is the height of the AIDS epidemic. But basically, a young man moves to the Hollywood, LA area and meets these 2 very fun characters who I believe are a couple. And it's got like an old Hollywood vibe to it. So it sounds like a wild ride of excitement in California in 1993. So I hope it's worth it. This sounds more literary, and what got me into literary fiction, by the way, I'll show you the book, 4 Squares by Bobby Finger, another queer novel. This is also set in 2 time periods, in the 90s and then in the current time. It's just basically about a man going through a midlife crisis and how his life was back in the 90s and how it is in current time when he's now in his 50s. And I love that book. So when I saw this one, it kind of sounded interesting to me, another queer novel. So I hope it's a good read. And one more thing, I'm not going to show these as part of the book haul for this video, but a video is coming soon about what these books are all about. A little hint, they're all about 1,000 pages or more. All right, well that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video, and please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that, and I'll catch you next time. Take care, bye-bye.